Coming up on NTC News Tonight, Donald Trump is making his first visit to the White House as the president-elect, and NIU students get ready to register. We'll have some tips that will help you. And NIU football faces off against Toledo in the Huskie Chi-Town Showdown. NTC News starts right now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
Hello, and welcome to NTC News. I'm Emily Becerra, and thanks for joining us.
And I'm Eric Martin. It's Thursday, November 10th. The election is over, and the newly elected Donald Trump visited the White House earlier today. Trump's plane landed at Reagan Airport around 10:30 this morning for his first stop in Washington since the election. He met with President Obama and was scheduled to meet with House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. President Obama says he's committed to putting politics aside to make Trump's transition to the White House smooth. The Black Student Union held an event called A Call to Love, and the election was the main topic. Students reacted to Trump's victory and shared their fears about his presidency.
I'm mad because racism is gonna be on the rise now even more than before, and that's just sad.
I think it was very disappointing and disheartening because a lot of people thought that we were turning the corner. We had the first African-American president, and we were thinking we would have the first female president and somebody who was accepting of many different people, irregardless of their background, and then we kind of get a slap in the face.
BSU organizers say despite how students feel, it's important to stay unified as a student body.
NIU students have been reacting to the 2016 presidential election in different ways. We spoke to students yesterday to see how they feel about the new president-elect.
Hillary has, her thought or her ticket is very close to what I think. Trump, on the other hand, I did not agree with a lot of things that he's providing, especially for somebody immigrated here. Especially being a Muslim.
And I feel like people took it as a joke, voting for Hennessy and a gorilla and not voting. But it's kind of just like we can't really retaliate badly because the Republicans have the power, so we need to be smart about what we do because we can kind of mess ourselves up more.
Some students were hesitant to speak to us, and others said they were surprised by the results.
We sent reporters to talk to professors on how they feel about the new president-elect. One professor had strong opinions about Donald Trump.
I think the results of the election were a travesty. I feel very, very strongly about this. I was up till 2:30 in the morning. I was shocked. I think we have a very outmoded system.
Kapperman, who is visually impaired, does not agree that Clinton can win the popular vote and does not win the presidency. In Chicago, thousands took the street last night to protest the election results. Demonstrations were held in front of the Trump Tower while protesters shut down Lakeshore Drive chanting, "Not my president," and "No Trump." There were 5 arrested, but no injuries reported.
Also in Chicago, the NIU Huskies played their home game at Guaranteed Rate Field, the place the White Sox call home. And it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for some Husky fans. NTC's Alex Rodriguez was there.
Baseball and football, for one night, they were one and the same. The Huskies took on their rival, the Toledo Rockets, at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, as it was a one-of-a-kind experience.
Thinking about it, our administration and, White Sox organization, Guaranteed Rate Field, and everybody, some of our alums, Jeff Jordan helped put this together, maybe Sanchez too, and we couldn't be happier with the venue.
The Huskies came out strong in the first half, getting key defensive stops and outscoring Toledo 14-3. Ryan Graham's touchdown pass to Shane Wyman in the first quarter propelled changes for the Rockets going into the second half.
Guys that, some mistakes made, some self-inflicted wounds, a couple penalties, a turnover where the quarterback and receiver weren't on the same page. Just some tough things that we had to overcome. In the locker room at halftime, just reminded our guys that this is a team of fighters and people that don't quit.
Toledo would go on to outscore NIU 28-10 in the second half to beat the Huskies. This would mark Toledo's first win against NIU since 2009.
Toledo, it's always a four-quarter game, it's always a hard-fought game. They certainly felt like they made one more play than us, and that was it.
The Huskies hope to end their season strong, away from home, with the memory of the showdown to last a lifetime. For NTC News, I'm Alex Rodriguez.
Big playmakers from the NIU sideline were wide receiver Kenny Galladay, who had 14 receptions for 149 yards, and quarterback Ryan Graham, who started for the injured Anthony Maddy and had more than 200 yards passing and 97 rushing yards. The Huskies are not bowl eligible for the first time since 2007 after last night's loss.
As this semester draws to an end, students are gearing up for the spring 2017.
And Nicole Ryan's here to join us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, well, you're here to tell us more on registration for next semester.
Yes, I am.
What's up with that?
All right, so I had the opportunity to meet with Beverly McCall, the Acting Associate Director for the Academic Advising Center. Class registration for undergrad students with 120 to 90 credit hours is now open. By November 17th, all students should be able to pick out classes for next semester. McCall says that students should see their academic advisor before choosing classes so they can stay on track to graduate.
Make sure that all holds are cleared before you register. For example, a student may have a bursar hold, a health services hold, an academic advising hold, as well as a wellness hold. So the student can go to My NIU to make sure that they have any holds that need to be cleared before they register.
Freshmen and transfer students must complete online tutorials, Alcohol EDU, and Haven before they can register for classes. The Academic Advising Office has extended their hours during this time to help ensure appointments are available for all students. Back to you guys.
If you prefer being called another name than your legal name in class, you may be able to officially change it online. Students will be able to put their preferred names on My NIU starting on the 15th. Students can change the name that appears on Blackboard and class rosters. The students' legal names will still be present on official documents like transcripts and diplomas.
Now we'll check in with Emery Danins with the weather hit.
It's another beautiful sunny day here in DeKalb. Temperatures today will reach into the lower 60s, but it is going to be very windy out here today. Wind gusts could reach up to about 35 miles per hour today. And then tonight we'll dip down to a low near 40 degrees. And then tomorrow will still be sunny and windy, but it will be much cooler. So to hear more details about that, stay with us. Back to you guys.
Coming up next on NTC News Tonight, NIU students turn up the notches for a campus broadcast platform.
And hacking inside the Student Center? We'll give you the details. Also, Shada Cook gets an inside look at the DeKalb Distillery on this week's Husky Trail.
I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Kishwaukee College held a Veterans Day ceremony today. The free event featured opening remarks from the Kishwaukee College president as well as a presentation by Missy Minardi on the price of freedom. Attendees had an opportunity to honor and recognize veterans by posting a personalized star on display.
What started 5 years ago in a dorm room closet is now an official organization recognized by NIU. Reporter Eddie Garcia tells us more about Campus Life Radio.
Campus Live Radio is a student-run organization that focuses on NIU news, student advice, and local music. The organization has officially been recognized by the NIU Student Association as the radio show continues to grow. Campus Live Radio reaches about 300 listeners per show and is widely expanding over social media.
I believe Campus Live Radio gives students a voice to be heard, to talk, to reach out to the campus. A lot of people don't know about Campus Live Radio, and that's what we're trying to just do different events.
The show airs through the Listen to My Radio app, giving students the ability to live stream it everywhere. The Campus Live Radio team encourages up-and-coming artists in the NIU community to send in their music to be aired on the show. Students listening in are able to get involved with the radio team by live tweeting the host on the subjects talked about throughout each segment.
Campus Live Radio was popular but not really well known. I wanted to be NIU's radio station. I wanted it to just be everyone always wanted to listen to it. So I asked the president before me, Rain Darren, you know, like, what can we do to get approved through Senate? What do we have to do? Do we have to get uniform? Like, let's tighten up the structure of it.
Now officially recognized by NIU, the organization looks to expand its personnel and add new radio talent. Campus Live Radio streams from various locations around NIU as they plan on moving forward to a permanent location on campus. From NTC News, I am Eddie Garcia.
Campus Live Radio streams every Wednesday and Thursday night. Students can check out @Campus Live NIU on Twitter for future updates.
Next week, the Division of International Affairs will be hosting International Education Week. This year, the focus is on empowerment. Some events include a cookie giveaway and a music concert. On Thursday, people of different backgrounds will come together and celebrate Culture Fest. Check out the school's website for more information.
Now, Emery Danans is here to talk about the weather this weekend. I've got a lot of plans. Is weather going to ruin it?
No, it should be very nice in terms of plenty of sunshine this weekend, but it will be a little bit colder. Now, today we saw really warm temperatures, another unseasonably warm day. High temperatures reaching near 63 degrees this afternoon, much warmer than normal for this time of year. It made for a very beautiful day. Now, if you're outside today, you saw plenty of sunshine, but it was also very windy out there. We saw wind gusts up to 26 miles at one point. We saw them up to 30 miles at another point, so I know if you're walking to school, your hair is probably blowing around like mine was, but we'll die down. Those winds will die down a little bit tonight, but then they'll pick up as we go into Friday. So let's take a look at the larger scale to see what we have going on. Now today we had tons of high pressure dominating our area, which is why we have plenty of sunshine, but tonight and into Friday, this cold front will pass through our area and bring colder temperatures for Friday, but still in the 50s, so not too cold. And then as we go into Saturday, that'll push off. We'll see another high pressure region develop, and we'll see again sunny skies for this weekend. So it'll be a nice weekend out there. Now let's take it back to tonight, where we'll see an overnight low of about 40 degrees. Again, those winds will die down a little bit temporarily tonight, but then as we go into Friday, we will see those winds pick back up again, gusting to about 20 miles per hour. And now they will be out of the north, because with that wind shift after that cold front, we'll be funneling down that cold air, which is why our high temperature tomorrow is only supposed to be around 51 degrees. Then as we go into Friday night, we'll see mostly clear conditions, much colder overnight low of 29, so we're below freezing, so definitely bring jackets and gloves with you if you go outside, because our overnight lows are going to be a lot colder than they have been. And then let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Going to be plenty of sunshine. Friday again, high of 51, then Saturday, high of 50. Going into Sunday and into next week, we'll see temperatures getting into the upper 50s. It'll be very sunny out there, so hopefully you're able to get out and enjoy this fall weather. All right, everyone, that's all for weather. Let's send it back to the desk.
More than 250 students camped out in the Home Student Center for 24 hours. Nicole Ryan unlocks this story for us.
NIU is opening its doors for a 24-hour hacking marathon. The marathon, known as the HUSKIE Hack, invites coders of all experience levels to come together to problem solve, critically think, explore new equipment, and even participate in team challenges. One team of hackers from Adelaide East Stevenson High School came to learn about collaboration, build their skills, and gain experience in the coding world.
My teacher, Mr. Svedlik, he gave us a lecture about growth mindset, and that inspired me to come to this and then get some experience, get myself growth about different languages, different experiences, especially about a big event like this.
Since the Stevenson team is still in high school, the HUSKIE Hack provides them with the opportunity to create their own app, network with college students and professionals, while receiving prizes for completing challenges. Everyone in attendance is given access to multiple professional coding platforms to ensure that the competition is fair and competitive for all involved.
That's what I actually love about this place. You can universally develop on many different things, and then you can come up with this one thing and then compare it with everyone else.
The team from Stevenson feels confident in their abilities to successfully create a user-friendly education app. And if they don't take home first prize this year, the Stevenson team and countless others will be back at it next year for another shot. For NTC News, I'm Nicole Ryan.
The next event through Steamworks is the Volcano STEM Cafe on November 15th. All students interested in STEM fields are invited to attend.
Now let's take a look at how the women's soccer season came to an end after a great playoff run. Eddie Garcia has more with NTC Sports.
Thanks, Eric. The women's soccer team's journey to the tourney came to an end after a close one. Their season ended last Sunday with a heartbreaking loss to Kent State. The Huskies were in the 8th seed in the MAC tournament this year and were looking like a one-and-done team.
Early on, they upset number 1 ranked Ball State in the quarterfinals and defeated number 4 Western Michigan in the semis. They then advanced to the MAC championship against the number 2 ranked Kent State. It was a battle until the end as Kent State scored with 85 minutes in. The final would be 1-0, ending the Huskies' Cinderella-like season. The women's volleyball team looks to close out their regular season this weekend against Toledo and Ball State. Last weekend, they were able to pick up 2 wins against Eastern and Central Michigan. Senior middle blocker Jenna Radke was named the MAC West Defensive Player of the Week. She led the team in blocking with 2 blocks per set. This is the 3rd defensive award she's received this season. The remaining 2 matches will determine what seed the Huskies will place for the upcoming MAC tournament on November 17th at Victory Court. The Huskies men and women's basketball teams tip off tomorrow night. The men will play against Indiana State at the NIU Convocation Center. Returning starters Eric Armstead, Marin Marich, and Marshawn Wilson look to lead the Huskies through the MAC Conference. New additions of Lacey James and Justin Thomas will help the depth on the bench. The Huskies finished 21-12 last season and 9-9 in conference play. The women's team will travel to Loyola for some non-conference action as the Huskies look for returning senior Allie Lehman, who has a career 360 points in her last 3 seasons. They finished 11-19 last season and 4-14 in conference play. The women's cross-country team looks to keep their season going as they go to their NCAA regional meet this Friday. TJ Hopkins has more with this week's Leader of the Pack.
Usually, we highlight one person for Leader of the Pack. This week, an entire team is getting acknowledged for their teamwork and their camaraderie. The women's cross-country team finished 2nd in the MAC Conference Championship meet. It was their best finish in school history. There are 12 schools in the MAC Conference, so the teams are ranked 1st through 12th. Historically, NIU has finished either last or close to last. That trend continued up until this year. In just 1 short year, Coach Adrian Myers turned this team from last place finishers to title contenders.
So for us, obviously, the next step is trying to bring the trophy home. So we've got a good recruiting class, we got a good group returning, and everybody wants it. So that makes my job easy.
People tend to think that track and cross country are the same because they both involve running. Track tends to focus more on individuality, while cross country focuses more on the team. Unlike track, where the highest team that scores wins the meet, cross country is like golf, where the lowest scorer wins the meet. There are 5 runners at a time for a team. The team's success is based on those 5 runners as a unit, not as individual runners.
You know, you can do well if you have 2 superstars, but you still got to have 5 that are competitive in the shoot. So if you have a 5th runner that's really far off, it could kill your team score.
Since the team is so dependent on solidarity, it is important for each person to hold her teammate accountable. During a meet, they use each other for motivation to keep going and beat their opponents together.
You're pushing yourself against everybody, but in the back of your mind, you can think about your teammates who are out there too, and either in front of you or behind you. And having your team out there is such a big component of it, and knowing that you're not racing just for yourself, but you're also racing for those people who are out there with you.
With the NCAA regional tournament this Friday, the team looks to keep this program going so the success can continue in the future. For NTC News, I'm TJ Hopkins.
Now on to Chicago sports. The first place Chicago Blackhawks faced the Blues in St. Louis last night. In the second period, Marian Hossa scored the first goal of the game, giving the Hawks a 1-0 lead. Later on in the third period, Alex Pietrangelo scores a late goal and would set the game into overtime. The Breadman Artemi Panarin came in clutch, putting the Hawks on top and scored the game-winning goal with just 25 seconds into overtime. The Hawks improved their record to 10-3-1. The Chicago Bulls' hot start at the beginning of the season is slowly cooling off after another tough loss to the Atlanta Hawks last night. The Bulls started off strong with Jimmy Butler's 39 points and Dwayne Wade's 25, as they rallied back from a 17-point deficit to take a 5-point lead in the third quarter. However, Atlanta's Thabo Sefolosha and Dwight Howard added 38 points and 10 rebounds to overtake the Bulls 115-107. Chicago hopes to rally and win their next game tonight in Florida against the Miami Heat. Northern Illinois University's Athletics Hall of Fame has opened its polls to public nominations for the 2017 induction class. The Hall of Fame is seeking nominees who've made outstanding contributions to intercollegiate athletics and have previously played. Former student athletes from 2006 to 2007 can be nominated this year. Coaches, administration, and staff are also eligible for nominations. Visit the NIU Athletics website for official nomination or submit a letter to the Convocation Center. The deadline to make these nominations is at the end of this year. That is all for NTC Sports, folks. I'm Eddie Garcia. Let's toss it back to the desk.
A small business in DeKalb is winning awards for their use of the city's mascot. Shada Cook has more on today's Husky Trail Stop.
The difference in where whiskey starts at Whiskey Acres is the fact that it starts with the seed we put into the ground and goes all the way to the spirit that we put in the bottle. I'm Nick Nagley. I'm one of the co-founders of Whiskey Acres Distilling Company. Two business partners, Jim and Jamie Walter, and the three of us on Walter Farms, just south of DeKalb, built Whiskey Acres Distillery. We are Illinois' first estate distillery, which means that we grow, harvest, mash, distill, age, and bottle our whiskey from grains grown right on site here in DeKalb.
Nick led me around the entire facility and even let me check on some drunken oatmeal to see if it was ready to be distilled.
We found that by having control of the grain and the ingredients that we're using to make our whiskey, it gives us a superior quality of whiskey that has been awarded in several international tasting competitions. So despite the fact that it was a lot of work to start up and get into the business, we've been very successful at bringing good products to the market.
On the property, there's a tasting room that includes a full-service bar where you can taste anything you'd like, background knowledge about the company, spirits for sale of course, patio seating, and a map with some pretty impressive places marked.
A map that has locations of people who have visited from around the world. We literally have had every continent of the world visit us, or someone from every continent of the world. We're at well over 40 countries and probably well over 40 states. And most of those folks come here because they want to see Whiskey Acres. And so we're very proud of not only the credibility that DeKalb has given us, but also some of the notoriety that we're finding that we're giving to DeKalb.
To find out more about Whiskey Acres, you can visit their website at whiskeyacres.com or look them up on Facebook at Whiskey Acres. I'm Shada Cook, and that's all for this stop on the Husky Trail.
That's it for today. NTC News Tonight is produced and directed by students here at Northern Illinois University. For more on NTC News, look us up and like us on Facebook, and you can also check out our website.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye, everyone.